Let's start the video with the most important question. What is the operating system? An operating system is an interface between a computer user and the computer hardware. It's a software which performs all the basic tasks like file management, memory management, process management, handling input and output, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drivers and printers. The operating system is a main component of the computer. Let's take a big look at the components of the computer. Hardware, that's the physical part of the computer. Operating system, the link between the application programs and physical components. Application, the software that user deals with to execute his orders. User, the human being that uses all of these components. Let's take a flashback. When you power up a computer, what happens? The first thing happens, the initial program called bootloader. It's stored within the computer hardware in BIOS and starts all the components of the system. That's the last use of it to load the operating system kernel into the main memory, or it's called RAM. The kernel is represented as the core of the operating system and resets the operating states of the CPU for the best operation of all times. And the final thing, it provides the basic level of control on all the program peripherals. After all of that, the system is ready to use. What are the services provided by the operating system? User interface, program execution, file system manipulation, input-output operations, error detection, and security and protection. Usually, operating system comes in two forms or two types. Depending on the interfaces, your type have been further subdivided. These interfaces are command line interface and graphical user interface. It's also called GUI. Let's get to know in brief about each of them. Command line interface. It usually deals with using text commands and techniques for entering this command. The graphical user interface, which is a Windows system with a pointing device like a mouse or trackball to point to the input-output devices. Choose from menus-driven interface and to make choices, viewing from a number of lists and a keyboard to enter the text. Program execution. The operating system must have the capability to load a program into the memory, RAM, and execute that program. Furthermore, the program must be able to end its execution. File system manipulation. Programs need to be read and written as the files and directories. File handling portion of operating system also allows users to create and delete files by its specific names, search for a given file or a list file information. Some programs compromise of permissions management for allowing or denying access to files or directories based on file ownership. Input-output operations. A program which is currently executing may require input-output attaching, which may involve file or other input-output device. The operating system provides means to do input-output operations, which means read or write operation with any file. Error detection. Error may occur within the operating system. Error may occur within CPU, memory hardware, input-output devices, and in the user programs. For each type of errors, the operating system takes adequate action for ensuring correct and consistent computing. And the last service that operating system provides is security and protection. Protection includes in ensuring all access to system resources in a controlled manner. For making a system secure, the user needs to be verified through the system. Let's take this topic from another side and get to know how the operating system organizes all of this work. When the operating system allows you to perform more than one task at a time, that is called it's a multitask. The operating system controls the timing of events that the processor works on, as the operating system coordinates the activities of the processor. Second, it uses a RAM as a temporary storage area for instructions and data that the processor needs. The operating system is therefore responsible for coordinating the space allocation in the RAM to ensure that there is enough space for the waiting instruction and data. If there isn't sufficient space in RAM for all the data and instructions, then the OS or the operating system allocates at least necessary files to temporary storage on the hard drive, and this is called a virtual memory. The last thing we have in this video is called CPU management. The operating system decides the best way to swap between running, runnable, and waiting processes. Controls which process is being executed by the CPU at a point in time, and share access to the CPU between processes. The job of working out when to swap processes is known as scheduling.